Hey guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of the Alchemical Visions Tarot. I don't remember where I seen this for the first time. I think it was Dawn Michelle's channel, but I think I've seen it a few times now. Either way, it really made an impact on me, and the artwork is amazing. But I also like that this video is, or I mean that this deck is really based on like the alchemical process, like the psychological, and I don't know. Let's just get into it and you can see for yourself. The artwork is really what sold me though. So this is the box. It also had like another sleeve that was just like over it and then in cellophane, but I didn't keep the sleeve. If you want, you can always take like Mod Podge or something, because the sleeve only went on this side and around to the back. But I was like, nah, why bother? And this, it goes right through. It says, to achieve the ultimate mirror and to learn the nature of the soul, wash the interior of the red retort and leave in a coating of warm water. Into this place 3 pools of delphlogisticated, let me put my glasses on, air. 121 stone inflammable air. Carefully add and combine. So it's, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of like not so easy with it being in a circle. But it's like a recipe of some sort, which, I mean, it's the Alchemical Visions Tarot. So that makes sense. Here's the book. It is a heavy book. The paper quality is really phenomenal. This was a little bit more expensive for a mass market, but I mean, it is a massive deck also. Massive. And the book is big. There's lots of information in it. It's heavy. Oh, do this. I mean, this deck is massive. This is what the inside of the box looks like, which is super cool. And it is a magnetic closure. This is the backs. This is massive. Do you see? It's massive. I don't even know how I'm going to use it. And that is a bit irritating to me. Sorry. And I still didn't get it. Fingerprints on black. You know, you always see it. But moving past my obsession, the Alchemical Visions Tarot, 78 Keys to Unlock Your Subconscious Mind, by Arthur Taussig, PhD, copyright 2019, published by Wiser Books, an imprint of Red Wheel Wiser, and it's manufactured in China. Sold as part of the Alchemical Visions Tarot set, not to be sold separately. Okay. Also, Arthur Taussig is making available a very limited number of art prints of the Alchemical Visions Tarot. I mean, honestly, wait till you see the cards. They are phenomenal. The price of each print is, and they're 17 by 22 inches, which is good size. The price of each print is $150, including packing and shipping within the continental United States. I would want one for my room. Wait till you see all these. They're friggin' amazing. Now, I put the Fool in there, but the Fool was at the back. But I put it in the front. That's just, and even in the book, it starts off with the Fool as the last and the Magician in the first place. But that's just me. That's what I do. Let me move this over. I will grab a couple out of here and read them to you. But I don't even need my glasses in this part. This artwork is just amazing. Definitely feels, I mean, not like tarot is not esoteric, but this feels super esoteric and elicits like further delving into your subconscious mind just because of like all of the stuff that's in this. But then you've got like hints of color on a backdrop of black and white. It's just, I don't know, man. It is just phenomenal. Is that not the coolest? Like, let me get up close for you to see. The Hierophant. It's wild. The Lovers. Look at the snake. Or the serpent. It's like dragon-headed. That's amazing. Wow. There's so much to see in these cards. They're probably going to be more like an altar card for me, or a deck to really just like study, you know? I can't see ever doing like, I mean, yeah, for myself. Readings for others with this? Nah. But I can't even honestly see drawing more than one card at a time. I'll know more after I've actually worked with it and read some of them in the book, but I mean, its size, it really feels like it is a deck more for like delving in, you know, studying one card at a time. A good, deep deck study, I could imagine, would be really good for this particular deck, or any deck that's like this. I should read the introduction about Arthur Tausig. I mean, he's like a musician and artist and doctor. And it took him, he worked on this for like 10 years. Just deep diving into all different areas of tarot, like the Kabbalistic and the astrology, and all that is all like intertwined in this. Wow. There's just so much to explore in this. I'm just blown away by this art. Wow. Have you guys seen this deck before? I did get this on Amazon. I'll put a link down below. Wow. What an awesome deck. Oh my god. Oh, look at how gorgeous that is. I love, like, oh my gosh, look at that. Oh. It's like you discover something new every time you look at it. Wow. Ace of Coins. These are not in order either, not the way that I normally put them. At least the suits are not. I'm going to just keep going, but normally I put the coins at the last. My combination normally, or order that I put it in, is usually wands, cups, swords, and then pentacles. Wow. Wow. It's just so incredible. There is so much to see. It is definitely a feast for the eyes and for the mind. I love that. It's challenging. It's challenging me to go deeper, to explore. I could see definitely some journeying work with this, and definitely shadow work, right? I mean, it does say tapping into the unconscious, right? Or uncovering the unconscious. Wow. Wow, this is stunning. Sorry, I'm just kind of blown away, guys. I'm really starting to like the bigger cards. I'm like doing a... I'm like transforming some of my likes, you know? I can't imagine this smaller. So much would be lost if it was smaller, in my opinion. I even like the glossiness. Especially with dealing with such a huge deck, I feel like it's got to be glossy. It's got to be that smooth. And this isn't like where it sticks together or anything. That's what I mean. You have to with such a big deck. You have to have something that you can easily slide around. This might be a good deck for fanning out and picking one card. Or just laying them all down and going like this, you know, moving them all around in order to pick one. Because I'm not even sure how I'm going to shuffle this. Clearly I haven't shuffled it yet. So we shall see. We'll see together. Wow. Oh, sorry. That was a yawn. This does not bore me. I'm just tired. Six of Cups. Boy, this is beautiful. So beautiful. Wow, look at that. Wow. Boy, that really puts things in perspective, don't it? Eight of Cups. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. This deck just blows me away. I'm very curious to see what it says for each card, why, you know, why it's chosen each element, and maybe its placement and why. That's just fascinating to me. Oh, that is super cool. 5 of Swords. Huh. Interesting. Wow. There's just so much to see. That's why I said journey work with these would be excellent. Meditation work, going inside of each card, seeing what you can discover. Wow. Wow, isn't that weird? Wow, that is so weird. Is that like the pelvis bone or something? Huh. I don't know. We shall see. Wow. That's weird. Ace of Wands. Wow. Oh, gosh, I just think this is amazing. I mean, I'm only going through this quickly. There's so much to see in these. Every little area, there's so much to see. Wow. It's like a feast for the eyes and the mind. I'm sorry if this is a little bit slower, you guys. It's just there's so much to take in. I'm like still processing each card. It's taken me a long time to look at all of the components in each one. And I know I'm missing stuff. Wow, 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 wow. I like the planetary stuff that's being put in here. Pluto, Neptune. That's so cool. Wow. Oh my gosh, look at that card. Oh, that is fabulous. Oh. Wow. Oh, that is gorgeous. Yes. It's like awakening of that third eye. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. All right. I have to move you up a second. All right. Okay, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to shuffle this. Wow. I don't know here. It is definitely a stretch. It can be done, but it is a stretch. I can't get that many at once. So let's see if, like, the sideway, I can tell that's going to be difficult also because, wow, how do people do it like this? No, that's not going to work. I have no idea. There we go. Okay. I mean, it is a stretch, you guys. It is very much a stretch. But, you know, it doesn't deter me. I am just so enamored. There we go. It's getting better. I'm so enamored with this artwork that I would not want this smaller. This feels like definitely an altar deck. You know, a study deck. And having each one of them larger like it is fantastic. Listen, I got short fingers, short stubby fingers, so I can shuffle it like that. It is definitely a challenge, and I know that there are people out there that have shorter fingers than mine, but mine are really very, I mean, if you look at like palm, if you're doing like palm stuff, look at the difference for me. My fingers are so much shorter, so I don't have like a huge reach in my, and I can still do it. It is, all right, so anyways, let's see if we can fan. I mean, you can fan it. It's just such a big deck. I'm not used to working with such a big deck. But let's pick just a few and see how this reads. All right, so let's do this one. The King of Cups, right? All right, let me put my glasses back on. Let's look into the book. Let's find where it says King of Cups. What page? Come on. Hmm. 113. All right. So, I'm just making sure. I can't see it because it's up further. There we go. I think you can see the whole card. The King of Cups sits on an elaborate throne floating on a choppy sea. The throne's stability in the midst of the turbulent sea symbolizes emotional strength and solidity. The sea is full of bodies, drowned or drowning, showing that the king has acquired enough psychological learning and self-knowledge not to be tempted by hubris and ego inflation. Oh, I love that. He can make contact with the unconscious and yet not be hopelessly mired in its contents like the drowning figures around him. His yellow and red cape symbolizes the balance between his passion and intellect. However, he seems to sit comfortably on his throne, thinking he, like the ego, is in charge. He seems unaware of the large powers lurking behind him. Oh, okay. The king holds a scepter and an orb, the masculine and feminine symbols of his power. Controlling equally the power of the masculine and the feminine, he has become the benevolent ruler. The sovereign's orb is the symbol of godly power, topped by a Christian cross. It confirms that the monarch is God's representative on earth. In terms of the King of Cups, it signals that the king is the conduit for messages from above. The scepter, also topped with a cross, represents the temporal power of the ruler and is associated with good governance. Behind the king is another monarch, older, larger, wiser. It is this dark king behind the young king, the shadow king, the one who holds the chalice, who is the true symbol of power. The young king has traveled on the road to wholeness and, during the journey, probably painfully, faced aspects of his unconscious that he would rather deny. In order to become king, rather than deny them, he faced them, met them, befriended them, and integrated them into himself. See, that's why I said it's so good for shadow work. That's exactly what it is. One of the most important and most powerful of those elements is his shadow. All the negative impulses that beckons us in moments of weakness. Having integrated his shadow, the young king uses it in the King of Cups, literally as the power behind the throne. On the other hand, if we take the young king to be the son of the wise, old but ailing monarch, a new circularity opens in this image. According to Jung, a similar idea appears in the Grail tradition of the sick king, which has close connections with the transformation mystery of the Mass. The king is the forebearer of Parsifal, whom once could describe as a redeemer figure. Just as in alchemy, the old king has a redeemer son or becomes a redeemer himself. The lapis is the same as the beginning and at the end. Okay. Behind the elder ruler is a very complex symbolic structure. Okay, so we see it right here. Most prominent are two gigantic blue spiral seashells, almost wings on the old king. Oh, okay, this is the structure that we're referring to. Okay. That must be like the, okay, like the, like a ship that's back there. In one reading, the spiral defines a path, starting from the center to move outward. One moves from the inner worlds into the outer, from the intuitive, intangible world to the world of matter, manifest the world of ego, of materialism. A world more inviting path, a much more inviting path is from the outer world to the inner. This is the journey, a movement from the outer world of the mundane to the inner world of the spirit and the psyche. The shape of the spiral indicates that this is a very long journey indeed. It may be never-ending, and the path itself is not a constant. It is full of changes in texture and size, and it has its share of impediments. And all this should be expected, for the path into the depths of the psyche is never simple or straightforward. In front of the spirals are two red men holding smoky, fiery vessels. Okay, here and here. This is the alchemist as the rubedo, the reddening stage of the alchemical process itself, signaling that the end of this portion of the journey is near, appropriate for a card at the end of the suit. Yet we must remember, every time one portion of the journey is completed, another portion of the journey appears anew. The two spirals are topped with seahorses. In ancient Rome and Greece, seahorses were sacred to the god of the seas, Neptune and Poseidon. They were guides to drowned sailors. The seahorse led them through a spiritual vortex until they reached their ordained fate in the afterlife. At the symbolic level, seahorses signify the force that guides anyone who may have ventured too far into the unconscious and is on the verge of being taken over by the forces therein. In our modern world, it may be psychotherapy that rescues the traveler from insanity resulting from being overcome by the elements of the unconscious. These symbolic seahorses stand guard at the entrance to the spirals. Should travelers misstep on the path of the spiral, the seahorse is there to rescue them. Supporting this fantastic structure of spirals and seahorses are two pillars. Here and here. Oh, right. Okay, with the seahorses at the top. Where was I? Like the Queen of Cups, he sits symmetrically between them. These structures symbolize the king's supremacy and the equilibrating power between the yes and no and the light and the darkness. In the background is the top of a sailing ship, symbolizing the ability to navigate in difficult emotional waters. The ropes from the mast are connected to the complex device behind the elder ruler. For journeying on the ocean, that is the unconscious. Right, the mast, that's what it's called. It is the old king's device, and all that it symbolizes that power the ship. With these powers in tow, the safety of the journey cannot be assured, but success without the attempt is impossible. For the male traveler, the King of Cups holds in his hands the power of the anima, the orb, and the ego, the scepter. For the female traveler, the card represents the power acquired from integrating the animus represented by the scepter and the female ego, the orb. In both cases, there is a great power behind the throne, that is, behind the ego. While the journey for both the male and female traveler is long and difficult, full of hurdles and possible missteps, there are also elements in the unconscious that will protect the traveler from the disaster of being consumed by the elements of the unconscious. Ooh, I got goosebumps. That's so good. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay, let me pick something else. This one looks all nice and pristine. Oh no, until you look at it in certain light. Oh, wow, what is it with the kings? Huh, wow. Embracing that king energy. King of Wands, okay. So he is... He's towards the end of the book, page 177. An imperial figure stands at the center of the King of Wands. He holds a wand that has burst into a rainbow of oak leaves. Behind him are a majestic lion, a hand in the midst of a geometric calculation, and a wide, fiery band of flames and salamanders. The King of Wands is materialized by perhaps the most powerful ruler in history, Julius Caesar. Here, like a king, he is the epitome of just rule, the governing principle, and the virtues of sound judgment. As the universal and archetypal man, the king also possesses magical and supernatural powers. The title of king is bestowed only on the most outstanding specimen of every type, be it among metals, gold, or animals, the lion. Thus, the great lion head behind the king symbolizes both strength and the authority to rule. The king's wand/scepter has sprouted multicolored oak leaves. Standing for strength and long life, the oak is sacred to Jupiter. This may be derived from the ancient belief that the oak tree attracts lightning more than any other tree and is thus a pathway, a means of communication between the gods and the world below, a connection between the above and below so sought by alchemy. I didn't know that. The oak wand may also represent the world tree, the central axis about which the world and the universe rotate. This is yet another aspect of the king's power. And to further enhance the king's power, each of the leaves resembles a star. Thus, the wisdom and rule that the king meets out through his scepter/wand has the authority of the very universe itself. Above the king and the lion is the measuring hand. This image brings to mind the famous William Blake watercolored etching of Urizen. He used as his frontispiece to Europe a Prophecy, 1794, a highly anthropomorphized and I know what it is. I'm just not good at saying the word. Old Testament God, a white-bearded and muscular old man. Urizen kneels on a flaming discus, using a compass to measure the black void. In Blake's complex alchemical mythology, Urizen is the embodiment of law and conventional reason, the Logos. It is reasonable to assume that Blake saw and built upon the 1677 version from Philithius Symbola Christiana. In this version of the King of Wands, a quite human hand measures the distance between a point radiating lines downward and another point in shadow with no radiating lines. Where is it? Oh, okay. There we go. What is being measured is the distance between something that is static and moribund and something that is alive and projects beyond itself. The scene is enclosed in a ring representing the infinity of the quest. At the top is inscribed Ab Uno, toward one. This is the goal of the alchemical great work, the magnus opus, the unity of all matter, the one of total purity, the philosopher's stone. This figure is well described in the 18th century Tabula Ceremonis. The circle and the point. The circle is the symbol of eternity. The point is the symbol of the concentration time in the moment. Sun equals gold equals connection between circle, eternity, and point, concentration. Is time and eternity is the symbol of the unity of the macro and microcosm. This well describes the alchemical transformative role of the King of Wands. Behind the king is a brace of roiling red clouds spreading from horizon to horizon. We are not sure if the flaming clouds are a storm on the horizon threatening the king's lands or emanations from the lion protecting him. Or are they part of the king himself, rising from his back like great red wings in another representation of his power? Well, this is the rubedo, the redness that appears near the end of the alchemical journey to reduce the philosopher's stone, or, in Jungian terms, individuation. In the blue sky above, the red clouds on the horizon behind the measuring figure is a very odd rainbow. Yep. It is shaped like a rainbow, but the colors don't follow the path of the rainbow's arc. The origin of the colors of the rainbow, according to Paracelsus, is sulfur, the mediator between the body and the spirit. Thus, which is interesting also because many times with spirit encounters, people smell like sulfur. My grandma's house used to smell of sulfur really bad. And I swear there was something there. But anyways, let me go back here. The origin of the colors of the rainbow, according to Paracelsus, is sulfur, the mediator between the body and the spirit. Thus, the rainbow echoes the message of the circular Ab Uno figure. In addition, the goddess of the rainbow, Iris, was Zeus's messenger, which links her with Hermes and Mercury, the messenger who presents or represents the reconciliation of opposites, more particularly those of above with below. The King of Wands connects above and below in another way. Red salamanders in the great red clouds and more ordinary salamanders beneath the king's feet. The salamanders in the red clouds are the alchemical creatures that thrive on, feed on, and resurrect from fire. The two at the king's feet complete the psychological allegory. They are emerging from the waters of the unconscious, representing aspects that will have to be dealt with for the traveler to continue the journey to wholeness. Under the king's direction, he is pointing to the fiery clouds. This alchemical purification of the unconscious elements will take him. The King of Wands tells the traveler, male or female, that nearing the end of the journey, having survived trials and gained knowledge, one is rewarded and rises above the ordinary to become a king among others. But this is not without price. Expect great pain when aspects of the unconscious are brought to the surface and dealt with. You will experience the alchemical fire of regeneration. That this suit ends in royalty, page, knight, queen, and king, indicates that ascent we monitored may lead to a parallel spiritual ascent. I am just literally blown away. Oh, I got goosebumps. I am so looking forward to probably drawing a card every day and reading and really like working with each one of these cards. Oh, what do you guys think? Have you seen this deck? Do you have this deck? Have you worked with it? What kind of revelations have you discovered while working with it? I would really love to know. Please leave me a comment down below. Thank you for spending this time with me and looking through this deck. I will put a link down below where I found it on Amazon. And I am sending you love always. Thank you.